I know that you have just shifted. You don't feel like being the same person anymore. Perhaps you may be confused, like, what's going on? You don't feel as your life makes sense right now, and it doesn't need to. You may feel confused, and confusion is as much important as clarity. At this point, all you need to understand is that you don't need to understand everything altogether, because at the right time, at the right phase of your life, what you're going through right now will make sense. But what you need to understand at this point, at this moment of time, is that this is the most important phase in your life. Because you're releasing the parts of yourself, the version of yourself that was stuck, that was unhealthy, that was trying to prove something to others, that was seeking relationships only to not feel lonely, that was trying to do anything to be approved, to be validated, to be accepted. And you've gathered such an incredible amount of strength and courage that you were able to leave that behind. It's something you should really congratulate yourself. I want to congratulate you, because this is one of the toughest challenges to accept on this journey. To say yes to yourself. To say yes to who you truly want to be. To who your inner voice wants you to become. And therefore accept the phase of darkness, the phase of confusion, the phase of questioning what life is all about. When you feel despair, you feel confusion, you feel frustration, only because you've started shattering your ego. And these cracks in the ego feel like confusion. This is just a short phase in your life that will make one of the biggest changes you will ever experience. Some of you have been through the phase of being isolated, being alone, feeling like you just need to go through it. Like, why nobody understands you? Why there's no one to talk about what you're passionate about? Why there's no one around me that would understand me? Some of you are in this phase right now, and you may still feel confused, like, why no one understands me? It's because you're shifting. You've just shifted into the next chapter that says there's a bigger meaning to your passion. You don't become passionate about certain subjects just to talk about it with random people in your life. You don't become passionate about it to talk about it with your friends. You don't become passionate about something just to show up in your family and say, hey, look at me, I found my passion. You don't become passionate about things just to show up. There's a bigger meaning. There's always a bigger meaning. There are degrees to everything you're going through. You're just climbing upward this pyramid that's called awakening, the process of awakening, until at some point you come to the top and you understand the journey you've been walking on. But right now you're shifting, or perhaps you've just shifted and you're experiencing a new chapter of your life where you can't be the same person anymore. You're not the same person anymore. You don't need to act same way as before. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. You've chosen to do this, right? And life has chosen you to become this. Some of you may find yourself being or shifting into the phase of rebirth. In the phase of rebirth, you are experiencing expansion, like your senses are increasing. You're becoming more aware of your sensitivity. Sensitivity is not a weakness. It's like learning a new language. Like when I've started learning an English language so I can make this kind of videos, I've recognized like this is whole another thing. Understanding sensitivity is just another language. We start to speak the language of life. We sense it right through our senses. That's why we say, I sense something, I feel something, I feel something. This is the phase of rebirth. You're experiencing the expansion of your consciousness. And you know that you can only experience in life what resonates with the level of your present state of consciousness, which reminds you that you don't need to force anything. There's a slow process of evolution happening in your life if you're saying yes to that inner voice. If you're saying yes to what's calling you, you're going through a slow process of evolution where your consciousness is expanding, your frequency is rising, and slowly it's becoming more coherent. But understand that it's like learning to play an instrument or learning to paint. It's a long process. At the beginning, you're just getting used to everything. Then you start to see some progress and you start to feel better about it. But then again, you start to feel frustrated because you thought it should be faster. You thought that you will manifest abundance faster. You thought that success will come much faster. You thought that respect and following and whatever you're going through, whatever you're building, will come much faster. But life doesn't work that way because there's timing to everything. And you're learning to in-tune yourself with your timing, right? That's why many of you are going offline frequently. So you can align with yourself, right? It's a good thing you can do. Go offline and find yourself. In tune with yourself. And notice what you've been neglecting about yourself. See, as much as you're focusing on the bright side of life, on the vision for the future, you need to recognize the dark side of life that will bring meaning to create that future. Some people say, well, all these darkest moments in my life, it doesn't make sense. It's because you're trying to escape your darkness. You can't escape your darkness. Stop resisting it. Carl Jung said, what you resist persists. Stop resisting it. There's meaning in it if you pay more attention to it, if you feel it and notice, look, why I feel so ashamed of that. Talk about it. Open up. So the rebirth can happen for you. You've just shifted into a phase of rebirth. And you're recognizing, well, you're becoming aware of what was behind the ego. So if ego is that false self-identity you've kind of created to be someone in the society, now what's behind the ego is something scary for the ego. Because it's pain, it's fear, it's joy, it's playfulness, it's everything. But ego created this identity that is kind of the way that would be accepted from others. So what ego did, ego started studying people around you, and then it adapted itself to these people so it would be accepted. That's ego. But what's behind it is everything that ego suppressed, so those people around you would not laugh at you, would not call you out and say you're crazy, would not say, hey, you're too childish, you're too sensitive, you're too this, you're too that, you're too left, you're too right, you're too whatever. That's what ego is so afraid of. So when you decide to step to shatter the ego, you experience a massive confusion, because ego was protecting yourself for such a long time, and now suddenly you're breaking free from it. It's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. But it's the only path towards liberation. That's where you give birth to passion. You start to feel passionate about something. You start to feel enthusiastic about something. You start to feel like you need to do this special thing. Like as a little kid, you were dreaming about it and then you've just suppressed it, right? So as soon as you start sensing this, I've started sensing it long ago. Like, I need to start painting. I started drawing. I started seeing visions in my mind, and I just couldn't not do it. That's how strong that force was. At some point, as you're moving through rebirth, you start feeling it. Many of you are feeling it. And many of you are wondering, like, why my work is still not growing? Like, why I'm doing so much and it's still not growing? It's because your time hasn't arrived yet. You're still building up skills, building up strength, finding new ways, being an innovator, right? Something we've been talking yesterday. We're in a time of innovation. We're in a time of incredible creativity. If you're wondering why your work is not growing or whatever you're doing, you're wondering too much about the things that are outside of your control. When your work becomes authentic in all the ways, you will come up somewhere to the right people will find you, and they will find incredible amount of value in what you're doing. If you're not there yet, it's completely okay. You are where you need to be. So it's all leading you into a deeper sense of calling, into incredible healing. So many of you have just shifted in a way of how much you've healed yourself during the recent years. These were very interesting times, what we are moving through, right? And what we've been through, the COVID and everything. Very interesting times. And you got this opportunity to go through emotional healing, to go through mental healing, to go through a spiritual healing, to reconnect back with the essence of who you are, with the beingness behind your ego, and noticing, well, I'm much more playful than I thought, I'm much more expressive than I thought, I'm much more abundant in spirit than I thought, abundant in creativity than I thought, abundant in joy than I thought. And maybe before I experience a life of abundance, I need to start expressing more of this abundance. Maybe life is preparing me to become a master of expression of the abundance that is moving through me in order to experience abundance outside of me. And then again, understanding that when you start mastering expression, you actually start planting the seeds, and you don't get rewards at the same time you plant a seed. There's timing to everything, and life is preparing you for what you want. Life is preparing you. But firstly, you need to prepare yourself to become who you came here to be. And that is an incredibly joyful path, but also challenging one. And you're beginning to understand that it was never meant to be easy. Life was never meant to be easy. It was also never meant to be just hard. It's not just hard. It's something in between. Like if you want to make it easy, everything will become hard. It's the energy, it's the attitude behind everything you're experiencing. Like from what kind of state you want to move through this day. Sometimes you will feel tired. Sometimes I feel tired. But I still show up and give you a message. I still do my work. I still do my job. I'm training myself to be able to be of service in any kind of state I am in. And I can actually use it for a message. Like sometimes I just feel sad. Sometimes I feel down. And I will make a message like what I do when I feel down. What helps me. Sometimes I need to rest more. Sometimes I need to rejuvenate, right? And sometimes I feel excited. I feel joyful. And I will make a message of joy for you. So you see, we can use all kinds of states for leveling up. Actually, when we are able to channel our emotions through our work, and you can channel them in any work, in healing, in business, in content creating, in art, in music, in anything you can channel your emotions. Actually, in relationships, the most wonderful conversations will be the one when we become emotional, vulnerable, and we open up, right? That's when you're leveling up. And you're just knowing all these things because you've shifted. Like, your life is not the same anymore. Let go of what you're holding on. Surrender your worries, my friend, because everything is working out. You may not believe these words. You don't need to believe them. Test them. Try them out. See what happens. If you just trust a little bit more into your own capabilities, into your own abilities, and sharpen them. Like, what are your abilities? Ask yourself, what are my abilities? Well, you've been suppressed for such a long time that you've maybe forgotten what are all your abilities. You're an incredible genius, but people told you that you're no one. So whom do you trust, my friend? Just ask yourself, will you believe that you're a genius and you will find out what that genius can do? Or will you keep walking on, thinking like you're no one? I know you will not do that, because you're smart. You're wise, my friend. So write in the comment section, I am a genius. Affirm to yourself, my friend, that you are a genius. And you're just becoming more of it. You've shifted, my friend. Welcome to a new life. One love. Hey my friends, I hope you've enjoyed in today's video. I want to remind you that we've just opened a fresh new store called AttractPassion.com, where you can find all of my work. Original paintings, you can find prints of all of my art in different sizes, so go there and check it out, AttractPassion.com. If you will use the code PASSION15, you will get 15 off onto your first order. So go there and check it out. And to anyone who would love to work with me one-on-one, I'm offering one-on-one coaching. We have some free spots once again. You can go and check out the link in the description of this video where you can find everything there. So go and check it out. If you would like to do something with the inspiration that you feel right now, it will help you so much to transform your life. I want you to do something with it. If you feel inspired, you have to do something with it. So my friends, till next time, one love.